it seems like it's Aaron Rodgers or bust in Pittsburgh. And for me, at least from my perspective, there is no place in the league left for Aaron Rodgers. Even if it's Pittsburgh, they're not good enough to actually compete for a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, at least in my eyes. And there are two reasons a veteran quarterback would stay around, either for mentorship or to win. And Aaron Rodgers has scratched the mentorship. He's obviously not around to be a mentor for the young quarterbacks like a Joe Flacco. So he's here to win. And winning teams right now, they have their winning quarterback. They have their franchise quarterback set up. Other than maybe the Vikings, and they express absolutely zero interest in Aaron Rodgers because they want to roll with JJ. So I don't really question Aaron Rodgers as much as his talent. I don't question Aaron Rodgers' talent as much as I do just the character. I think organizations are cautious on bringing someone like Aaron in who wants to run his own ship and bring his own players in, and maybe that might work out, but they don't want a miserable next few years like the Jets will have because of the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah, I think if you bring in a quarterback in the kind of the twilight of their career, you need to have a plan. And the Jets, like they historically do, just made like another move with just no plan in sight. I do like the move to Pittsburgh a little bit more. You do have two like legitimate receivers. You have like a decent running back, and then of course you have that great defense. My only issue is, and I am a player's advocate. I hate when fans say certain players have a bad attitude, locker room issues, whatnot, because at the end of the day, we are fans. We do not know what goes on. But what we see, right, that's all we can go off of. And things are going to be great in Pittsburgh until they're not. And then I'm going to be intrigued to see how it works if they do get Aaron Rodgers, when Aaron Rodgers is upset, DK Metcalf's upset, and George Pickens is upset. You have three uberly talented football players that, from a talent standpoint, should be enough to win a Super Bowl. But they are all mentally so small in the biggest of moments, like with the exception of Aaron Rodgers. But now he is still mentally small and his skill is now depleting. So I think for a fit skill-wise and talent-wise, sure, it's going to be great. I just don't know how their characters are going to all fit in with each other, especially when things aren't going to go well, and like they're not. Because like you're going to bring in a quarterback who has to learn like the system, and then like you're going to bring in a wide receiver who I'm assuming thinks he's going to be like the wide receiver one, and then you're going to have like a wide receiver there who thinks he's the wide receiver one. So there's going to be a lot of things they're going to have to work through, and I'm just intrigued to see if they're going to be able to do that in a efficient manner, or if things are going to blow up even before they start.
This is also assuming that Rodgers lands in Pittsburgh, right? Like, that hasn't even been sealed as a deal. But, I mean, like, you just backtrack a little bit. 3,800 yards last year, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with the Jets. It wasn't the perfect season, but again, this isn't really a lack of talent question for me. I don't think Aaron Rodgers, I don't know about you, but when you compare him like talent-wise to Brady's last years, I don't think like there's a crazy gap. I still think Rodgers can play, but there needs to be the perfect situation for an older quarterback like that, especially someone who has the quote-unquote attitude problems that Rodgers has. And I agree with you, Shawn, like we cannot tell everyone the full story when we're just sitting here and listening to what the media has to tell us. But I will say, if there are countless stories about a player from different sources that are saying the same thing, and we visually see it on the field with the reactions and the relationships, obviously there has to be something there. There has to be a reason why championship caliber teams like the Vikings said absolutely not. We're not entertaining Aaron Rodgers. When we have a chance to go ahead and win a Super Bowl, that screams, hey, there's an issue maybe here with Aaron. And maybe Mike Tomlin is the right fit, and he's finally going to be a character guy that holds Aaron in his place. But what have we harped on? The play calling in Pittsburgh is also brutal. They're not a very good passing team whatsoever. So bringing in any quarterback doesn't make a lot of sense when you don't have the offensive play calling down, and you notoriously have been a defensive run team, but your defenses fail in the playoffs. Like, we are just circling back to these same points episode after episode because the Steelers, they stay stagnant. Nothing ever changes.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with aging football players, and I think just athletes in general. When you are a superstar of a team, of a franchise, and you say maybe have an attitude, the teams are fine with that attitude so long as you are out there on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays and producing. The second you have a drop off in skill and production, they are just not willing to put up with like your attitude anymore.
Right.
So absolutely, Aaron Rodgers is able to still play in the National Football League. It's just now his attitude and his skill are even, and for a team, it's just not worth the hassle. So I agree with you. I think his last stop before he is out of the league is going to be in Pittsburgh, and I think that's going to be a hell of a challenge for Mike Tomlin. But I keep hearing about this Mike Tomlin guy being a Hall of Fame head coach. So if he is that, which I don't think he is, but if he is that, then show it.